Hi, welcome to Between the Lines. Today, Michelle and I will be chatting about some of our favorite books. My name is Ronda Caudill, and it's Michelle Cornwell-Jordan.
Hi guys. Well, I'm excited today. I love to chat about books. I think that's one of my favorite things. Um, I want to hear a lot more about Full Moon Publishing. Maybe we can chat about that a little bit because I know that are doing a lot of great things over there. So maybe for those that may, you know, be new to Between the Lines or Full Moon Publishing, and then we
Okay,
can get into it.
sure. I think I have to do a head count, but I think we're approaching 20 authors right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like weekly I'm getting a submission. Um, Focusing on new authors because I know how hard it is to get published, traditionally, and it depends on the right person liking what you send. It's all subjective to who's reading your work as to whether or not you get accepted with a traditional publisher. Um, so far, I've been reviewing all books myself, but I think I'm going to have to bring on someone soon.
That's a lot of work. Oh, that's a lot. So do you you read their just what do they send in to you? A couple
Um,
chapters, or do you read the full manuscript, or you read the full
Chapters. And if I'm intrigued with the first few chapters, I'll ask for the entire manuscript
Wow.
and read it and then make a decision based on that. But
That
it's it's really fun. It's a lot of reading though, but I enjoy it.
is it tough? Because I know how it is, when we're dealing with our own books and just different things. You've got this person's like, dream or whatnot, whatever, in your hands. And so I know that, and because I know you're an awesome woman and you're so conscientious, so I know that you are just really diligent about, wanting to make sure everyone has that focus and that attention. But that has to be, you know, an almost just an incredible, overwhelming task at times. So, I mean, what is the process? I mean, once you get the book, how long is the turnaround for them to hear? Then what happens after that once they're in the gate?
Once I get the book, I make no promises on how long it will take me to read it
Right.
initially. But
That's good.
I usually tell them within 6 weeks I'll have an answer. And then at that point, we'll sign a contract and I give myself 6 months to put it out.
Okay, very cool.
Usually the first few months are kind of slow because I've got so many right now, so many in line. I'm having to take them as they come and get them out the door in order they come in. But in the process of that, I have them send me, once the contract is signed, I have them send me their bio, their blurb, any vision that they have for the cover, um, a biopic, anything, dedications or acknowledgments, anything specific they might want done to the book specifically, like formatting. But there's only so much, you can do formatting. But if there's anything, in particular that they just have to have, we'll do within reason. But then um, right now I'm requiring them to edit because it is just, we are such a small company and we cannot afford the editing um, costs. But then I have a really good book designer who's very reasonably priced, and she's really fast. She's very young and very motivated, inspired. So I give her details, and she'll send back a cover. I'm like, I don't think this is what they're looking for exactly, and we'll tweak between us. I'll send it back a few times. She'll send it back a few times, and then when I have something I think the author wants, I send it to them. And then if they're like, "Oh, I love this," then yes,
You're like, yes,
yeah. Then if they're like,
there's a
"Well,"
look.
yeah, that's only happened like twice, I think, so far. And they'll tell me if there's something that they want changed or something they don't like about the cover. But usually I get their vision up front. That way we have a good good idea of what we're working with for a base. And then, we'll work with the author a little, for a week or so and edit the cover until we get it like they want it. And then when everything is said and done, they have their ISBN, it's all formatted, they got the cover, everything's put together. I save it as a Mobi file and send it back so they can open it as if it were a Kindle book. They can see the cover and the whole 9 yards, and they'll see what it's going to look like. And then I'll have them sign something that says they approve the book. That way I don't have to go in and make 900 changes.
Like it's done.
It's done.
That is so cool. And 20, you're growing fast.
I'm very surprised at how fast it's growing. But I think I told you before that it was purely by accident, because I had taken some professional suggestion from someone who suggested, you probably should form a company and put a publishing company on your books, because I was indie and it was really hard. They said people will look at you a little differently if you have that publisher on there, and it may help you later down the road if you want to try to get published. Say, hey, I've already been published with this company, maybe you'd like to pick it up. So I did that, and then a friend suggested, hey, I know somebody who would like to get published. Would you look at their stuff? And I'm like, I don't know, I guess. Well, I'm having to try to hammer out a contract and figure out rates, and everything. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And then, another person that I knew said, hey, I've got a book. Will you look at it? Somebody said you're publishing. I'm like, well, not really, but sure, I'll take a look at it. It had been a really good book. So the company just kept getting emails. Because, I set up a web page and an email and everything, and accidentally getting all these emails. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually a company now. I'm kind of working.
That's funny. You're like, we were accidentally getting these emails. That's very cool.
But it turned out really well, because I've been working with some great editors and great cover designers. I have a couple of different designers that I use depending on who's tied up and what kind of cover the author wants, because one company does certain designs better than the other. So it's just, it really depends on the author and who's backlogged and how quickly we need the cover as to which one I use. But it's turned out to be a lot of fun, a lot of work, but I'm really glad that it accidentally happened.
Are you thinking about placing a cap? Are you making a decision to either continue growing and seeing, how far that can go, or do you want to cap it, saying, no, I think I want to stay small or mid-size, or you just have no plans? You're just going to see what happens.
I'm going to do like I write. I'm just going to wing it. See where it takes me.
That is exactly how I live. I do. That's how I roll.
Secretly. But no, my plans are, I'm going to let the company grow as large as it will. I'm going to let it take a life of its own on. And then if, it's becoming to the point to where I think I'm going to have to get help soon. My husband keeps saying, you really need to hire somebody. You really need to hire somebody. No, I've got it. But I think he's right. I think I'm almost to the point to where I'm going to have to outsource more than just the covers and editing and stuff like that. So I think it's to the point to where I'm going to have to hire a couple of people. So.
Oh my goodness. And I know that's probably a tough decision, because many of us that has started out, more indie or whatever, we're used to that control. So, and what quality, and how you want your authors to be treated. So I know that may be challenging.
That's exactly the reason I have held on so long. Is, well, I know how to format it. I can format it quickly. I know exactly what they want. I know how to work with this cover designer. I know exactly what this author wants. It really doesn't take that long, but when you get more of our books, it takes longer and longer and longer. But that was my reasoning behind not hiring somebody sooner is the control. I'm a terrible control freak. And with the quality, I want to make sure that the books are, that my authors are happy first and foremost. And, I want to be accessible to them if and when they need me. I want to make sure that their baby is taken care of. I want to make sure to do the best with their project that can possibly be done, that anybody could do for them, me or anyone else. So
very cool.
Yeah.
And who are some of the authors? Some of the books that you got for us?
Yeah, we have. Well, the first one I started was Chronicles of the Shroud, The Messenger with Jerry
Yes.
Sword.
I love that. I read that. I love that book. Yes.
It's a really good book, and Stephon Allen. And then, oh gosh, I don't have a list in front of me. And if I forget one author, I'm going to get in trouble.
It's like your children, you can't forget.
Yeah. So then I have Gary Lowell, and he has 5 short stories that once he gets to a certain point, he wants to compile them into a collection. So I told him I think that was a really good idea. He has The Dreams of Professor Canine, Slate and Crows, Lazarus the Goat, and forgive me, Gary, the last 2 just aren't coming. There's 5 total. Oh no!
You're like, no.
Yeah, and then we have George Combe. He did one titled "Ask," and it's a short story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Cohen, and let's see, and we have Mickey Smith, and oh my goodness, everybody else is kind of a fog. Roy Chestnut, Saul Warshaw. Saul is doing, he's actually submitted 2 more for another project, will be 2 smaller books, but they'll be combined into 1 book. And his vision is the front cover will be for 1 book, and the back cover will be for the other book, but they'll be in 1.
That is so cool.
It is. It's very cool. And so it's his first one. He actually independently published his first book, and I have picked up the sequels. So,
and what I was doing, I pulled up, guys, my my review of The Messenger. So that's what I was looking for. So later I'm going to read it. It is like super long, but that's okay. I enjoyed it.
It's an intriguing book, that's for sure. It was different, and that's what I want. I want something really different that's not mainstream, and I just looking for something really unique. And I don't even know. We put this in like a supernatural category,
right?
But I don't even know what you would really. It was hard for me to decide which category to put it in, and then. I have to, Amy Olinger, I have to mention her. She is close. She lives close, so she will actually come to my house.
Knock on the door.
Yeah.
And I am reviewing. I am reading. That is on my list to read, Miss Olinger. So I am definitely going to have that the next time we have a review. And I will have that review as ready as well to read.
It's a really intriguing series. She's already submitted the second one.
Wow.
It's The Birthright Dragonfly and the Vampire Coven. It's a long title. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I hope it is, or she will truly come by my house. But that's the sequel. But the first one was like an intro book, The First Life of Amelia Weston. So I don't want to give too much away, but I think it kind of reads, in the title, it kind of lets you know what to expect. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm gonna. Is it okay if I read the Messenger review?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna read my review of Chronicles. Let me get up here, guys. Chronicles of the Shroud, The Messenger, And then, okay, I've lost it because, that's just how I'm not great with technology. All right, let's see. All right, here we go, guys. All right, so this was I believe one of the first books I've read as from Full Moon Publishing, other than the wonderful publisher herself, who is awesome. I love, and I will read some of Ronda Caudill. So she's not mentioning herself, but I will. I will read those in a few minutes. But the messenger. I gave it 5 stars because it deserved it. The Messenger was a thrilling and compelling read. I enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. It was stock full of mystery, suspense, and simply a great adventure. The story was well written and flowed exceptionally well. I became wrapped up in the events that surrounded the incredible item which both evil and good desired. I was fascinated by how the aspects of science and religion would play out, and the premise, which I really can't go into detail, which I don't want to give spoilers away. I kept wondering, what if? What if this really happened? Today's science has evolved to a level with the DNA sampling and cloning that it is possible in the future that many scary feats or frightening feats might be undertaken by mankind. And that brings the argument, although we can, should we? The fact that there were 2 authors truly astounds me, and that is true, that they were able to blend that so well, so cohesively. The writing and the characters' voices were strong and seamless. The historical tidbits wrapped into the telling offered a captivating tale. I believe this book will ignite lively debates and cause much introspection, but overall, it was a grand adventure to read, and I look forward to the rest of the series. I fully recommend it to all those who enjoy mystery, suspense, and epic adventures. And you're right, it's very hard to categorize. It really is.
It is.
So if you want something that's outside of the box, something that will make you think, I really enjoy that book. So that was my little take. Publishing, Awesome. Very cool.
Thank you. And you have been such a wonderful inspiration and such a wonderful help. For me as an author as well as a publisher. So I just applaud you. You're wonderful. And I really appreciate the suggestions, the help, everything you do for me. And for the company. You've done a lot for the company in a roundabout way, bringing authors on for interviews and stuff. That really helps. And I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you. See, Ronda Caudill she rocks, and she's very gracious and kind, and she helps everyone, and that deflects from her, but this woman rocks, ladies and gentlemen. So she's an awesome author, which I actually am going to pull on one of, I believe I've read all of hers, but I'm going to pull up some of those in a few minutes, and I'm going to talk about that. But also, if you are a writer out there, and here I am, going to fill your inbox even more, and you want a wonderful publishing experience, you need to really check out Full Moon Publishing. And you specialize mainly in more the paranormal. I know you said it earlier, but specifically?
Well, mostly paranormal, but I'll look at sci-fi or fantasy. And if it's a really good book that's just like really hard to categorize, something that's just really unique, I will take it. It doesn't matter what the genre. It just that's what we specialize in, is paranormal, and then we do a little sci-fi and fantasy. But yeah, and like I said, we focus on first-time authors. So,
and I think that's wonderful, because most of us, when we come out, we're all still terrified, probably, but especially when you first come out, it is just such a challenging experience to give your work to someone and trust them with that, and then hear what you think about it, and have them take your baby and do whatever it is that it needs to be done to present to the world. That is a very scary situation. So it's awesome to have someone that understands this, and dealing with them.
It is very scary, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I have been the control freak who published my own books. And I have also been on the other end, where I've had traditional publishers a couple of times. And to relinquish that control is really frightening.
It is.
So
It is. I'll say that again. But what are some of and you may not have a lot of time because you're so busy with the company, but what about your TBR that you're just maybe if you get a brief moment that you're reading outside of the house?
I don't even know, Michelle. I haven't really looked at anything to have a TBR right now.
You're like, I just.
I don't even know what's out there.
Oh my goodness. And that is just what's so crazy. I think we all become, book bloggers and we all enter this bookdom because we love to read, but then we get so busy we can't read, and I'm the same. My list, it was so bad that I actually, this was the first time since 2011, I had to stop just for a little bit to catch up because my list was so long and I had made commitments back into 2015, which I, still have a few but I've caught up and I'm, trying to make sure I'm keeping those commitments. And then once I've finished, I can reopen. But it's tough, especially when you really, really want to give your true, your attention to a book,
Right.
and that is a difficult situation. But as promised, guys, I think one of the first that I read from author Ronda Caudill. I've known this woman for 4 years, and I've always twisted names because I'm country, and
I do the same thing.
and I'm sorry, any other Southern folks. I'm not. All right, Birthright, a nobleman novel. Yes, I went back to the beginning. I will give one from the beginning as well as her newest one. Okay, I'm sorry. Having some issues here with my thingy. But while I take care of tech issues, and it's kind of hard to do this when there's a camera and you're not. What would you say to those that are attempting to enter the field? Maybe they just want it as a hobby. Those. What are some avenues for bookworms that they may not want to be a publisher? They may not want to actually write a book. How can they start getting involved? To help those that are out there, because I think what happens is there's so many books, so many authors, people are getting lost. So what are some avenues that some of our viewers may be able to do to help the cause?
Reviews. Everyone
Yes.
needs reviews, and like you said, it's so hard for us because we're so immersed in what we do to actually read and give reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But reviews, and maybe start a book blog and do I don't know, give some helpful hints that they research and find. Maybe have a publisher, an interview or something with a publisher or an author. I think a book blog would be great, but definitely reviews is number one.
And what would some of the tools you think that would be useful for those starting out to maybe get together their book blog or whatnot? Because I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I would like to do that," but how? So, do you have any suggestions as far as for setting up that blog or getting that content out?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I'm still struggling with my own blog, Michelle.
You're like, what are you doing?
I'm terrible at blogging.
What are you doing, woman? Why are you asking?
Social media, obviously, is the best way to get, once you get a blog set up, social media. And then I would love if some bloggers would contact me and want some books to do reviews, because I've got some I can send you electronically for free, and you can review them.
Oh my gosh. If you are looking into getting into to blogging and you love to read, seriously, free books, guys, come on.
Yes.
Pretty much more than you can handle. This is a great avenue, and I know that there are some awesome free tools such as Blogger. I believe WordPress, which is a little sometimes that can be a little convoluted. Um, and as Rhonda said, I've been so far off in left field. There probably are even more, more, more blogging platforms, but I know those are two that are free that has all the tools, and you can set up a blog and set out a post. Then there's video. I mean, now you got the video platforms like
Right.
this, radio, blog talk, all of it free. You can just get up there and start talking and share your views and share your thoughts. So I think that is awesome. Um, I am still looking for, I'm going to actually have to go to Amazon. So I'm trying to talk around this technical issue here. Amazon is not my friend. But how are you finding the experience with Amazon now? Because I know there was a love-hate situation for years, with some authors, how they're now really controlling the reviews, because you mentioned reviews.
Mhm.
How have you had any issues with your authors with that, or?
I haven't had any issues with the authors, with their books as far as reviews go. There was one author that Amazon, they had posted reviews to Amazon, but they weren't up for some reason. And Amazon said that it would take a few weeks and I don't even remember the reasoning behind it, but there's only been one author who has came to me with a complaint stating that, hey, somebody reviewed my book, Amazon's not, they haven't put it up yet. But no, I think for the most part, everyone's pleased with Amazon thus far.
So
And
far, yeah.
yeah. And one thing about with Amazon and expanded distribution, your book gets noticed by a lot more bookstores and retail stores. So we have all been picked up with, it takes about 6 months, but Barnes & Noble and Books A Million both picks up the books.
Really?
After about 6 months out there, they're being picked up. So
on their e-site or in the store?
On the e-site.
Very, very, very cool. Oh my goodness. I don't know if if anyone still even, well, I'm sure you do, Smashwords.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that was one of the things that they offered, but I didn't realize that now that even with their Amazon, it can go out to the other distributors. I didn't realize that. So that's pretty cool.
It does. With the big thing with Barnes and Noble, or not Barnes and Noble, but Books A Million, as a publisher, I had to fill out this mound of paperwork, and it took almost 2 years to get in Books A Million. But once it was like pulling teeth. But once they finally picked up, accepted me as a publisher and picked up, the first couple of books, then they've continued picking up books from Amazon. I don't even have to submit anymore.
Really? Mm-hmm. And that's in the store or whatnot?
It's still on the online site for ebooks, and you can order on demand. You can get a print book from them.
Oh my gosh!
So if you want a print copy of one of the books from Full Moon, you can get it from Books A Million. But if the book sales are good enough, if they rank high enough, then Books A Million will carry them in the store.
That is fabulous, and I think that is. And I saw online on my feed the other day that there's something else that Barnes Nobles is doing. Now there's a way that if you, I think, publish their ebook through them or something like that, it goes into the store or something like. I mean, I knew that was always a possibility. You can always order it, but for whatever their new program is, there seems to be something else, an added benefit. I don't know. It was on my feed and I said, oh, I need to look at that. Okay, guys, what I was doing, and I'm so sorry, that's so rude for me to just keep looking down. I was searching for my my review, and I went to Amazon, and this is for Birthright. I think it was the very first read I read of author Ronda, from Ronda. And I just gave a summary. Don't you love the summaries? I just said Nala Jones has been dreaming. The story is about Nala Jones. She has been dreaming about a young nobleman from the past. Little did she know that he would become a significant part of her present. In this story of young love and fantasy, there are horrible details of a past life that Nala discovers. These details will determine whether Nala and her younger nobleman will live happily ever after. Birthright was a story of discovery. Nala Jones, like many young people, was in the process of discovering who she was, and with that knowledge, who she will become. Now, Nala's actual journey had much more depth than a normal teen, and because she had to remember a completely different life. I am a true romantic soul and love soulmate sagas, and this was no exception. I believe the story flowed, and the language was regal. Oh, wow, I used the word legal. It was regal and romantic. I believe that this is a wonderful debut novel, and I look forward to other works by Ms. Caudill. Now, this was back, guys, in 2012, and she's done so much more, but that was one of my first and my favorites. So, um, Birthright, so you got to go check it out. And of course, there's Chosen, and then you go from there. So, guys, make sure. I know she's the woman behind the dream, but she has a great list herself and her books herself. So I want you to make sure you go check them out.
Thank you.
Well, Rhonda,
Well,
I think this has been really a lot of fun, and I really wanted the opportunity to chat with you more about Full Moon Publishing, because every time I chat with you, there's just something different happening. Before we do wrap up, I do have a question for you. I've seen a lot of the publishing companies veering off into audiobooks, and they're veering off into other media platforms. Do you see this for Full Moon?
I do. It's just a matter of getting the help.
You're like, yes, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it, but I need the help. I'm a
That,
little of an army, but only, I can only do so much. But yeah, I do. I think ebooks are great because you've got Kindle and I don't know what all the other ones are. I know there's the Nook or whatever with Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble, the Nook.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, and I was one of the ones that. Oh no, I like this book in my hands. I like to smell the book and feel the book, which I still do.
Me.
Yeah, I still have the option. I will take that book off the shelf, but it's more convenient because you've got hundreds of copies on one little device, as big as a book, and you pick and choose. Because I'm terrible about reading 3 or 4 books at one time. My husband says, "How do you keep up with everything?" I don't know. It's just fun because I'm kind of ADD, so I'm around a lot.
I think I'm diagnosing myself with that as well, but very, very cool. Well, I am just excited to see what happens in the future with all your authors, as well as Full Moon Publishing and more books from yourself. Are you in the midst of this? How are you able to write yourself for your books? Are you?
I'm trying. I try so hard. In the process, actually, you know about my other project, my haunted house.
Yes.
Yes, so it's a historical house that was built the first 2 rooms in the mid-1700s, pre-Revolutionary War. So then a doctor purchased it and built the rest of the house around that 2-room log cabin. He left the log cabin inside in 1835. So I've been in the process of researching and digging information and historical archives and process of writing a book about the history of the house, plus the haunted history of the house. So I'll let you know how that.
See, and we want to know. We want to see. How they have those reality shows of when you're in the house or at these locations. We want to see that. We need. You got to start videotaping and showing us your house, like that haunted house. That would be so cool. Really, that really would. All right. Well, I think we are about out of time. What do you think?
I think probably so.
We are probably are. Well, author Denise Giroux, she she has a major project she's doing at home, but she will return. She'll be back in August. So we do miss her. Hi, Denise, and we look forward to her coming back and chatting with all of us here at Between the Lines. So she will be back soon. But until then, we're just so honored and happy to have this opportunity to chat with you. And we'll see you next time. And Rhonda, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.